Yeah, so just the more variety the better, all right, because it's all going to help your gut health too. So if you add a different plant-based food into your gut, they recommend 30 different ones in a week, different plant-based foods, all right, in a week.
Well, I would have it, but someone else won't.
But if you think about, so for example, if you went for, say, an untoasted muesli, all right, that's got seeds, it's got nuts, it's got oats, it's got, you know, and there's possibly multiple varieties. In a bowl of muesli, you could potentially have 5 to 7 different plant-based foods ready to go. Then if you put in, you know, say 6 or 7 different varieties of vegetables, then, you know, you're adding that up as well. Same goes with the fruits, and then plus you might have some bread, and you might have some pasta, and it's not hard to achieve 30 different plant-based foods a week. All right, but you've got to just focus on making sure that you're getting predominantly your plant-based each week. So veggies, fabulous. We need 5 serves a day. The only way we can do that is if we include them twice, so for lunch and for dinner. Can't do it with just one meal alone. All right. So the majority of people I see in practice probably don't get much at lunchtime, and it's dinner time where they, you know, wherever they have their main meal, where they have, say, meat and veg, that's where they get their veggies. But I'm here to say, let's try and get some at lunchtime as well, all right? Now that could be some salad in a sandwich, all right? It could be a bowl of vegetable soup with a cheese toastie, all right? It doesn't have to be hard. It could be some baked beans on toast. All right, it's not hard to put some veggies into your day at lunch and dinner. All right.
I don't see an avocado up there.
Yeah, avocado's there somewhere. Oh, it's probably not on the picture. Might not be on the picture. It is actually technically it's a fruit, avocado, but yes, I would include it as a vegetable.
Avocado's only big in the last 5 years. This has been around for ages.
And to be honest, avocado I would consider a healthy fat. Is where I would put that as a healthy fat. So even potentially with the small amounts with like the olive oils and stuff over here, you could potentially even put your avocado in that. Yes, Vic.
What is your approximate serves of different veggies? What equates to what?
Yeah, so half a cup of cooked vegetables is a serve. A cup of salad, like loose kind of salad, is a serve. All right, so that's roughly sort of what, and then a medium potato. So not your big potatoes, but just a medium potato is a serve, or the equivalent of sweet potato. Yeah, so that's our veggies, all right? I like to put it in, if you've got a dinner plate, half of that dinner plate will be vegetables. That excludes potato, sweet potato and corn, which are more carbohydrate-based vegetables. They would be in another quarter. So if you're having a meat and veg meal and you're including potato, ideally you've got 3/4 of the plate is vegetables. Okay? You can make veggies taste really good, all right? Put, you know, some flavours, some herbs, spices, stir fry, different cooking methods. There's lots of ways to make them taste good. I personally like them plain.
Coriander's a good one.
Coriander.
You like coriander?
I love coriander, but a lot of people, it's a divisive herb.
Yeah, it tastes like soap, right?
It's genetic, so I had my DNA done. If you have the genes, you either like it or you don't like it. It's determined.
See, I didn't like it. Now I love it.
I didn't like it because my mum hated it, and now that I am an adult and making my own choices,
It's essential in like Vietnamese food and things like that. I absolutely do.
Does anyone have any strategies they use to make their veggies taste a bit better?
I do a steam.
Yeah,
So
I like steamed veg.
I just go to the fridge and pull out a whole heap of things, chop them all up, and they're in the steamer together.
Yep, perfect.
Everything's together, and then
Yep,
I'll
That's how I do mine
sprinkle a little
too.
bit of something on,
Yeah.
a little bit of salt sometimes.
Anyone else?
Well, I just love veggies as they are.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
do I.
So do I.
do.
I live with a big boy, in other words, he's a man, but he eats like a child. And he loves them if we stir fry them.
Yeah.
Oh,
In a bit of butter, so that probably doesn't help me, but it's what gets him to eat
I
them.
was going to say, you've got to look at the benefits of putting
Yeah,
the vegetables in. So if it requires a little bit of oil or something
Yeah.
to make them taste good, I'm all for making them taste good. A little tiny bit of salt's okay, but salt has other implications for health in terms of blood pressure and things like that. So you've just got to be a bit aware. There's lots of different options out there. All right.
Bolognese is the classic, you can pretty much put everything hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My bolognese would be probably 75% veg.
I use red cabbage as the noodle now too.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah, for me.
Yeah. yum.
How do you make that as a noodle?
Well, it
You
just
just
becomes my
lightly
base, and then I just put the sauce on top,
Yeah, okay.
and then mix it all round. Then the others who don't like the red cabbage have the
They have pasta.
Mm.
If you like pasta, please eat pasta.
yeah, don't yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's fine. So yeah, lots and lots of veg. Let's get, let's try and increase the diversity of vegetables in your diet. Fruit, all right. Fruit has very similar nutrition to veggies, all right, but it does have the added sugars. So it's got the fructose, the sweet, all right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't ever let someone tell you that you can't eat fruit. Fruit is really healthy for you, but we only need 2 pieces a day, all right, versus the 5 of the veggies, based on the sugar content, all right. So a serve of fruit is equal to a medium-sized piece. So something like a banana, an apple, an orange, or a pear, that's a serve of fruit, all right. If you go for smaller pieces, so things like kiwi fruits or little stone fruits, you get 2 pieces as a serve, all right. Or a cup of fruit salad, cup of diced up fruit is fine. You can use tins of fruit. If you're going to use tinned fruit, please choose it in natural juice, not in syrup, because syrup's obviously sugars. And I would recommend you drain off the juice if you can. All right.
What about frozen?
Oh, frozen fruit's great.
Same with veggies?
Frozen fruit, frozen veggies.
Is that better than in syrup? Or
Oh, it would be heaps better than in syrup. And to be honest, frozen fruits and veggies, they're snap frozen, so all of their vitamins and minerals, you think about how long fruit and veg are in the supermarkets before they come out and we eat them. To be honest, frozen fruits and veggies are probably a lot.
I've been buying
more nourishing.
the pea, bean and broccoli mix.
Yeah, perfect.
Pull out your serves that you want.
Yeah.
And you don't have to, broccoli goes off in a flash.
Yeah, so I quite often the girls have seen me do it. I'll bring in, like I've literally put in frozen peas, frozen corn, and then I get the winter veggie mix, which is broccoli, cauliflower, beans and carrots, and they go in. And I just literally steam them in the microwave, and then I just eat that with either a tin of tuna or some chickpeas or something. That's my lunch quite often, and it's yum.
Yum.
It's actually really yum, because it's got, like, I put the tuna or I put the chickpeas that are marinated in some olive oil and rosemary and stuff like that. So it's flavour, it's delicious, but it's really meeting a lot of my vegetable requirements as well.
Excuse me, what about tin vegetables?
Tin vegetables?
Article, the garden writer in the Weekly Times, I don't know when it was read this week, he was, rather than have frozen peas, he now buys the tin of peas.
Okay.
And I was thinking, I can't believe that. So I bought a tin of peas, haven't tried them yet.
So
I'm just wondering,
a lot of your tin vegetables are okay. Once upon a time, they were heavily salted. All right. Nowadays, they're not so much, and you'll find that there's lower salt options out there. As long as you drain and rinse them really well, they're fine. So things like your legumes, your chickpeas, your lentils, your black beans and all those sort of things, they're fantastic. And just drain and rinse them really well. They're really important part of your diet. So they save you from cooking them, like yourself, and having to soak them and do all of that. They're really convenient. So yeah, get onto those. Yeah, for sure. There's nothing wrong with the tin varieties.
Canned tomatoes.
Canned tomatoes are great, yeah. And the majority of those now too don't have a lot of salt and stuff as well. Like they've got a preserving method now that there's not a lot of salt and sugar and stuff in there. So they're good choices. Yeah. And it certainly beats not eating them at all. So yeah, okay. All right. Now we're going to get onto the more animal type products. So we've got our dairy food. All right. Now this is obviously really, really good for calcium for our bones. All right, bone strength. Plus there's a whole range of other vitamins and minerals in there too that contribute to that bone, the matrix. They call it the dairy matrix, and it's, they're showing that even the saturated fats that are in dairy don't have the same effect as the saturated fats perhaps in processed foods and meat and stuff in dairy, because of that matrix and how it works in the body to strengthen your bones, okay? But having said that, if you've got high cholesterol, I do recommend that you choose reduced fat, okay? or if you've got like heart disease, or if you're looking to lose weight, things like that, I would recommend low fat. Okay. Also a fabulous source of protein. All right. Now, protein is really important for our muscles and tissues to keep our muscle mass nice and strong. So, and once we hit, I think it's 35, our muscle mass starts to decline as well. So it's also a really important thing to be strengthening, because it provides us with our strength, but our independence as well. We need our muscle tissue to be strong, which is where FIT comes in as well. So in combination with good diet and exercise, it keeps our muscle tissue strong, so we can have that independence. We can walk around, we can do stuff, all right? We can be able to do what we want to be doing, all right? So dairy is great for that, and it's also a great source of carbohydrate, okay? Which, like we said, fuels your muscles and tissues, all right, and your brain. So we need, so for males, it's 3.5 serves a day, and females 4 serves a day, which is a fair bit, okay? Once we hit menopause, ladies, our estrogen no longer protects our bones, and our bone strength start to decline. And for you gentlemen, you've never had that obviously, but you have a high risk of osteoporosis in your body, all right? So this is where this is really beneficial. So a serve of dairy food is equal to 1 cup of milk, so 250 mils of milk, all right? It's equal to a pot of yogurt, so about 170 grams, all right? It's equal to 2 slices of cheese. You know the slices of cheese that you buy, say the Coon, it's not Coon anymore, what is it, Chia? Something like that. 2 slices, Vega, 2 slices of that is a serve, all right? Or if you choose, you prefer soy milk, for example, then it's a cup of that, all right?
No, it's not milk. It's not.
No, it's not. However, if you're looking at an alternative, if you want a plant-based alternative to milk, soy milk's the closest to dairy that you're going to find, and that's what I'd recommend if you're choosing a plant-based.
So better than oat.
Yep, because it actually has protein. Versus like your oats or your almonds, there's no protein in there. And protein, like I said, like dairy is a really good source of protein. It can enable you to stay nice and strong.
With the yogurts, the plain.
Yeah, so with yogurt, yogurt, I would be looking at a reduced sugar version. So there's a few different options. My personal favourites, if you want flavour, is the YoPro. You've seen those, they're in a little black tub. And they're high protein. So they're high protein, they're low sugar, low fat. You've also got the Valia, which is a really good one in terms of gut health. It's made got lots of really good probiotics for your gut. But they've also come out with a low sugar version of that as well. And that's particularly yummy as well. So that's a really good one to choose. Generally, things like your Gippslands and your Tamar Valleys, full of sugar, and they've got extra cream added. So they're actually higher than 4% fat. Some of them are up to 10% fat. It's a dessert.
The yummy one.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful. We just don't have them as thinking that, this is a great thing for my
I'll
health.
only ever get them when they're on half price.
And if you want to have a dessert, it's okay in moderation, but don't keep having them thinking, this is really healthy, because unfortunately it's full of sugar and fat. So it's probably not great. But they're probably a couple of my picks. Okay. Now, meat alternatives. Again, great source of protein for muscles and tissues, but also iron and zinc for our blood and our immune system. So talking about immunity, that zinc and iron are really important. And combine it with the vitamin C in our fruits and veggies is also very important. And protein is really important for immunity as well. Okay. So what we would be recommending though, because these are sources of saturated fats, all right, animal fats is a saturated fat, and you know how you've got your white fat around your meat and it's solid at room temperature? It's solid inside us too, all right, is one way to try and think of it. The reason we get heart attacks and strokes is because we've got that build up of plaque inside, and a bit comes out, it breaks off and it gets stuck, okay? So if we're not putting that stuff in, we're keeping our arteries as clear as we can, all right? Now, saturated fat's not just found in meats, it's found in a lot of our chips and chocolates and, pastries, etc. So making sure the meat is lean, All right, so 5-star mince. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but you're actually getting more meat for your money versus the 3-star mince, which is probably half fat, and you throw it all away anyway. So you're better off getting more nutrition for your money, okay? Same goes with pork and lamb. Chicken, make sure you take the skin off before you cook. Take the skin off always before you cook. Take the fat off before you cook. Because otherwise, if you're cooking in it, it's soaking in it and it's soaking up into that meat. You still, even if you cut it off, you're still going to have too much of it. All right, so that's important. Who here eats fish? Yay! No fish haters. So fish, if you could do the second most important thing to vegetables, in my eye, is more fish. Particularly your oily fish, like your salmon and your tuna, sardines, mackerel, those, like the tins are fine, because they've got a lot of omega-3 fatty acids. All right, now omega-3 fatty acids protect us in terms of it's really good for our brain. It's anti-inflammatory, so you know it can be really beneficial if you're an arthritis sufferer, anything like that. It can reduce that inflammation in your body. Plus, it's good for heart as well. So the omega-3 fatty acids help increase our good cholesterol and reduce our bad cholesterol. So 3 serves at least a week of oily fish. All right. 2 or 3 small tins of tuna and a piece of salmon one night for dinner, and you're done. All right.
I guess the expensive fish is a problem.
Yeah.
Really, and availability.
Yeah. So
But I like what you're saying. It's very
the
good.
tins, you can get tins of tuna for $1.35.
Yeah.
They're easily the tins of the best way.
Tins are the best value for money. So if you like that, you can put it like that. You can put it like I do. I put it on veggies, but you could put it into pastas. You can put it through salads. You can do a lot. You can make like salmon or tuna patties. There's a lot of different ways that you can utilise it. And it doesn't have to be, I understand a piece of salmon, for us to feed my family, it's like $25 for 4 small, tiny pieces of fish. It's a lot of money, I get that.
And we understand with all of this, the expense of food is like a big.
Oh, it's doubled. It has, like our grocery bill went from $300 to $600 a month, a week. Yeah.
I equate what we have as a meal, if we went out for the meal, we dish at home.
Yeah.
It's a fraction of the price.
Yeah, it is.
So I sort of balance it like that and say,
Correct.
you know, we've had good value here.
Yeah, it is
And
cheaper
it
to
costs
make
us
it yourself.
$6 each or something.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, we've also got things like our lentils and chickpeas, our nuts and seeds, all right? They're good plant-based sources of protein, all right? Legumes is something that as a society we don't do enough of, so throw some legumes into your diet. If you like baked beans, put them in. If you like chickpeas, put them into salads, put them into stews. Lentils, always. Anytime I cook mince, I never do a mince dish that doesn't have lentils.
And
Lentils don't taste like anything.
No.
They take up the flavour of what you're cooking in. My kids don't know mince without lentils. They've never had it.
And it's quite cost effective.
Cost effective.
This is where
Bumps
that
it up.
costs. Meat is expensive, but if you like supplement
Yeah.
legumes, it really.
And it just doubles your volume. Still got the same taste because you've got some meat in there, and it's just a great way to get some extra dietary fibre as well.